My name is Ava Anderson, and I am 44 years old. The vibration of my phone cuts through the organized chaos of the Cleveland Clinic ER like a scalpel. 3 trauma cases in the last hour, a multi-car pileup on I-90. And now the device buzzes against my hip with an insistent, frantic urgency that makes my stomach clench. No one calls during my shift unless something is desperately wrong. I duck into the supply closet, the smell of iodine and sterile gauze filling my lungs. I tear off my blood-spattered gloves and jam my thumb against the screen. The caller ID shows Chloe, my 12-year-old daughter. My heart pounds against my ribs. Honey, what's wrong? Are you okay? Her voice comes through thin and choked with sobs. Mommy, my key doesn't work. It won't turn. What do you mean it doesn't work, sweetie? I press the phone closer to my ear, straining to hear her over a code blue announcement from the overhead speaker. I put it in and it won't turn, it's jammed. Chloe's words tumble out between ragged, panicked breaths. I'm outside, and it's raining really hard, and Buddy won't stop crying in his carrier. I close my eyes, trying to picture the scene. My 12-year-old daughter, standing on the porch of our home, her school backpack soaked, clutching the cat carrier while a cold Ohio rain pours down around her. Where's Grandma? Or Megan? Are they not home? Nobody's answering the door, she wails. I can see the lights are on inside, but nobody comes when I knock. Mom, I'm scared. A cold, familiar dread washes through me. I'll be right there, honey. Go to the side porch, under the overhang. There's more cover there. I'm leaving now. I burst out of the supply closet, nearly colliding with Dr. Martinez. The ER is a battlefield of stretchers and monitors. Ava, we need you in Bay 3, he says. The GSW from the pileup needs a central line. My daughter is locked out of the house. The words taste like panic on my tongue. I have to go. We're swamped, Ava. Can't someone else get her? Your mother. There is no one else, I say. The truth of those words, a truth I've lived with my whole life, hits me with startling clarity. There never has been. I push past him toward the nurse's station, where my supervisor, Nancy, is updating charts. Her eyes narrow as I approach. Nancy, I need to leave. It's a family emergency. She sighs, a heavy, put-upon sound. Iva, we're short 3 nurses already. Can it possibly wait until? My father just died, Nancy, I say, my voice flat and dead. 2 weeks ago. My daughter is 12 years old, and she's locked out of our house in a storm. Can it wait? Her face softens, the frustration replaced by shame. Go, she says. Go, we'll manage. The rain is coming down in horizontal sheets by the time I pull my old Honda CR-V into our driveway in Shaker Heights. Through the frantic rhythm of the windshield wipers, I can make out Chloe's small, hunched figure huddled under the side porch overhang. Her hair is plastered to her head, her school uniform soaked through. The cat carrier at her feet emits miserable, desperate yawls. I leave the car running and sprint through the downpour, the cold water soaking through my scrubs in seconds. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Chloe collapses against me, her small body shaking violently. Mummy, why doesn't my key work? I don't know, honey. I stroke her wet hair, my mind racing. Let me try mine. We move to the front door, and as we step onto the porch, I notice the curtains in the living room window shift slightly. Someone is home. My key slides into the lock and stops. It won't turn. It's been changed. I pound on the heavy oak door.
Hello, Mom.
Megan. Open this door! It's me! I've got Chloe! After a long, agonizing minute, the door swings open. I find myself face to face with my mother. Barbara stands in the entryway, a glass of red wine in her hand, her silver hair perfectly coiffed. She's wearing a silk lounge set. Behind her, my half-sister, Megan, leans against the newel post, swirling her own glass of wine, a smirk playing on her lips. Well, Barbara says, taking a slow, deliberate sip. Her eyes travel over our drenched, shivering figures with a cool detachment. You got here faster than I expected. What's going on, Mom? I ask, trying to usher Chloe inside, out of the rain. Why aren't our keys working? The locks are changed. Barbara blocks the doorway with a surprising firmness for a 65-year-old woman. We've decided this isn't your home anymore, Ava. You and Chloe don't live here. The words don't make sense. They're in English, but my brain can't process them. What are you talking about? This is our home. This was Dad's home. Not anymore. Megan steps forward, her smirk widening. She points a manicured finger toward the street. Your things are on the curb. What's left of them, anyway? The rain's been pretty brutal. I follow her gesture. and my heart stops. On the lawn, near the curb, are cardboard boxes. My boxes. Chloe's boxes. They are disintegrating in the downpour. Clothes, books, and photo albums are spilling out onto the sodden grass, dissolving into a heartbreaking, pulpy mess. I can see my father's framed medical degree, face down in a puddle. My own nursing degree, the paper warped and bleeding. Chloe's school projects, her artwork, our lives, dissolving in the rain. Buddy lets out another pitiful meow from his carrier, his cry cutting through the sound of the storm. Something cold and hard settles in my chest, a sudden, heavy calm. I look at Barbara, at the woman who gave birth to me, the woman I moved back home to help when my father was diagnosed with ALS. And I see nothing familiar in her eyes. No love, no remorse. Just a cool, triumphant resentment. Understood, I say. My voice comes out quiet but perfectly steady. Megan's eyebrows rise, as if she's disappointed by my lack of hysterics. 2 years ago, I'd given up my downtown apartment. I'd paused a promotion track at the clinic to move back into this house, my childhood home, to care for my father. Dr. David Miller, a man respected by everyone, a man who had been slowly, agonizingly stolen by ALS. I'd fallen into the familiar family pattern: Ava, the responsible one, stepping in while others stepped back. I'd worked 14-hour hospital shifts, then come home to manage medications, feeding tubes, appointments, and the entire household, all while Barbara played bridge and complained about how draining it all was. All while Megan, my half-sister from my mother's first marriage, visited only when she needed something. "You've always been the strong one, Ava," Dad had whispered to me, his voice weak, a few weeks before he died. I'd made an unspoken promise to him, to hold our fractured family together. I just hadn't expected to be fighting for our literal survival. "Come on, Chloe," I say softly, turning away from the door, from them. "Let's get our things." We walk back into the driving rain, toward the soggy boxes on the curb. Chloe's shoulders are shaking, but she doesn't cry. She's my daughter. I pop the trunk of my Honda and we start gathering what we can salvage. Books with warped, swollen pages. Photo albums where the colors bleed together like watercolors. Chloe's science fair ribbon, the blue ink running down the fabric. "Your father spoiled you," Barbara calls out from the dry, warm porch. "He always did. This was my house, first. I'm just taking it back." I notice the neighbors' faces in their windows. Mrs. Henderson across the street, her hand over her mouth. The Fishers, whispering to each other behind their curtains. I walk back to the door one last time, my scrubs soaked, rain streaming down my face. "We'll be at the Marriott on 5th Street. I say calmly. "Forward our mail." Chloe tugs at my scrub top. But Grandpa's books are still inside," she whispers, her voice breaking for the first time. "And Mittens." "What about Mittens?" "Our other cat." I squeeze her hand and look directly into Barbara's cold, triumphant eyes. "Trust me, honey. This isn't over." Something flickers across my mother's face. Surprise. She wasn't expecting this. She was expecting the doormat she's been wiping her feet on for 40 years. Behind her, Megan refills her wine glass, but her hand isn't quite steady. As we drive away, I catch a glimpse of Barbara in the rearview mirror, still standing on the porch. For a moment, I see what's always been there, hidden beneath the veneer of maternal obligation. Resentment. Pure, unadulterated resentment of the bond I shared with my father. A bond she never had. The rain drums on the roof of the car. Beside me, Chloe cradles Buddy's carrier. Ahead of us, nothing but uncertainty. But for the first time in 2 years, I feel something unexpected unfurling in my chest. It feels, strangely, like freedom. It's a terrible thing to feel betrayed by your own blood. Ava's story is just beginning. If you've ever had to find your own strength, when you felt like the world was against you, or if you believe in the power of a father's love, please show your support by clicking that like button. And subscribe to our channel so you don't miss what happens next. You're not going to want to miss this. The Marriott room looks like a hurricane's aftermath. Soggy cardboard boxes form islands across the beige carpet. Chloe's school uniform is draped over the shower rod, still dripping. Buddy huddles beneath the desk, his orange fur matted, refusing to come out. I've laid out every salvaged possession like artifacts at an archaeological dig. My nursing textbooks, their pages swollen and warped. Chloe's science project notes, the ink bleeding into illegibility. A family photo where my father's face has blurred into a watercolor ghost. I pick up my phone. Ben Carter's office. A crisp voice answers. This is Dr. Ava Anderson, I say, pressing the phone to my ear. I need to speak with Ben immediately. It's about my father's estate. Dr. David Miller. I'm sorry, Dr. Anderson, but Mr. Carter is in court today and… Tell him it's David Miller's daughter, I interrupt. And that his wife, Barbara, has illegally locked us out of the house and thrown our possessions on the lawn. A sharp silence hangs on the line. Hold, please. Ben's voice comes through moments later, breathless. Ava, what's happening? What do you mean, locked out? I explain the situation in the clinical, detached way I report patient conditions in the ER, changed locks. Possessions in the rain, wine glasses, facts, without emotion. That's impossible, Ben interrupts. Ava, your father transferred the deed to the house to you, and a trust for Chloe 6 months ago. It's not her house. The room seems to tilt. What? David put the house in an irrevocable trust for you and Chloe. Barbara has no legal right to be there, let alone lock you out. She is, legally, a guest in your home. I sink onto the edge of the hotel bed, my legs suddenly unable to support me. Why? Why wouldn't he tell me? He left a letter. With the documents. Ben's voice is gentle. He asked me not to mention it until it became necessary. He said he hoped it never would. Chloe emerges from the bathroom, her hair wrapped in a hotel towel. She watches me with eyes that are far too old for her 12 years. I'm coming to your office, Ben, I say, right now. An hour later, I'm staring at legal documents spread across Ben's mahogany desk. Property transfer forms, trust agreements, all signed, notarized, and filed with the county clerk 3 months before my father's death. Your father was very thorough, Ben says, sliding a sealed, heavy cream-colored envelope toward me. He wanted you to have this. The envelope bears my name in my father's distinctive, elegant scrawl. I break the seal. My dearest Ava, if you are reading this, then Barbara has done exactly what I feared she might. The house is yours and Chloe's now. It always was, in my heart. Barbara has never appreciated what she has, not the home, not you, and in the end, not me. I've watched her resentment grow over the years, especially toward you, her competition for my affection. You returned home when I needed you most, sacrificing your career and your life to care for me. You've always been the one who carries others, Ava, even when your own shoulders are breaking. You are the best of me. Take care of our girl, and let the home I built take care of you both. All my love, Dad. A single tear lands on his signature, blurring the ink. He knew, I whisper. He knew, Ben confirms quietly. And we have everything we need for an emergency injunction. Barbara and Megan are there illegally. They are, in fact, trespassing. My phone buzzes. A text from Mrs. Henderson, our neighbor. Ava, dear, I don't want to alarm you, but that sister of yours has a moving truck outside. They're moving furniture and her husband is with her, measuring the windows in your father's study. They're moving in, I tell Ben, showing him the text. Megan, her husband Derek, and their kids. Within 24 hours of locking us out. Ben's mouth tightens. This was planned well in advance. This was a coup. I need to understand what we're up against, I say, the nurse and me needing a full assessment. What can they do? Barbara is your mother. She'll use that. She'll claim you abandoned your father, that you're an unfit mother to Chloe. Ben hesitates. Megan, she actually called me this morning. Said she was concerned. About your mental health after your father's death. That you've been erratic and unstable. Erratic, I repeat, heat rising in my chest. She mentioned, Ben adds, that her husband Derek already has his eye on your father's study for his new home office. And that her twin boys are excited to finally have their own rooms. Another text from Mrs. Henderson. Oh dear. The boys are jumping on Chloe's bed. I can see them from my window. Something inside me snaps. I stand and walk to the window, looking out over downtown Cleveland. I catch my reflection in the glass. My ER scrubs, my tired, hard eyes. I save strangers every day, I whisper. It's time I saved us. Chloe is back at the hotel, watching me with that same cautious hope. This isn't about revenge, Ben, I say, turning back. It's about justice. I make 3 decisions, the way I triage patients in a mass casualty. I'm calling in sick. I need the next 3 days. We need to build our case. Ben nods, already pulling out forms. I'll file for the emergency hearing on Monday. Your father left everything prepared. Back at the hotel, I find Dr. Jenna Riley from my shift waiting in the lobby with 2 suitcases. Clean scrubs, she says. Clothes for you, clothes for Chloe, and real shampoo, not those tiny hotel bottles. I haven't cried since finding my father's body 2 weeks ago, but Jenna's simple, practical kindness nearly breaks me. Chloe's teacher, Miss Albright, arrives an hour later with her schoolwork. Chloe is one of our strongest, brightest students. She tells me privately, I've already documented everything she said about the situation at home, for your records. Just in case. By evening, the hotel room has transformed from a disaster zone to a command center. Ben has arranged a call with the bank manager, who confirms the trust details. Your father's foresight was remarkable, the manager says. The trust is ironclad. The phone rings. An unknown number. Ava? It's your Aunt Susan. My mother's younger sister, whom I haven't spoken to in years. Aunt Susan. I know what Barbara's done. Her voice is tight with anger. She's been planning this since David's diagnosis. She told me at Christmas she was going to reclaim her life and get what she was owed as soon as he was gone. I didn't believe her. Why are you telling me this? Because what she's doing is wrong, Susan says simply. And because Megan has already listed some of your father's antique medical equipment on eBay. I have the screenshots. By midnight, the emergency court filing is submitted. My savings are nearly depleted from the legal retainer, but I feel hope. Chloe is on the bed, stroking Buddy, who has finally emerged from under the desk. I miss Mittens, she says quietly. Our other cat, still trapped in the house. We'll get her back, I promise. And Grandpa's books. Everything, Chloe. I promise. She studies my face. Mum. Yes? You know that book we read. The one where the main character said, the hardest person to stand up to is your own mother. I nod. I think she was right, Chloe says. I sit beside her. Yes, honey. But not as hard as letting her hurt you. My phone lights up. Ben, the law is unquestionably on your side. Get some rest. Outside, the rain taps against the window, gentler now. Not washing things away this time, but cleaning them. My mother's Facebook post appeared at 3:17 a.m. I'd been awake, staring at the hotel ceiling. Please pray for our family. After my beloved David's passing, my daughter Ava has had a breakdown and has chosen to abandon the family home. Some grief manifests as rebellion. Your support means everything. And 27 sympathetic comments, hearts and prayer hands from church members who'd known me since childhood. Mom. Chloe's voice came from the darkness. You okay? Just checking messages, honey. Go back to sleep? I can't. Mrs. Peterson from school sent me a weird text. She said Megan told her I might not be at school because of your mental health issues. The words hit like ice water. By morning, the wolves were circling. Aunt Catherine, Uncle Robert, Cousin Jennifer, all concerned about my erratic behavior. They're creating a narrative, Ben said, spreading documents across his desk. And Barbara is refusing all certified letters. 3 attempts. I nodded, opening my notebook. Megan's husband, Derek, followed me into the hospital parking garage last night. He said I was making things harder than they need to be. Did anyone witness this? Security cameras. I've already requested the footage. A small smile touched Ben's mouth. You're getting good at this. My nursing supervisor is documenting every minute I spent at the hospital while caring for Dad, I said. DeGauber. Nichols is preparing a statement on Dad's mental competency when he made the trust. And the sheriff's office confirmed they'll enforce any court order we receive, Ben added. I needed one more thing. I need Chloe's birth certificate. And Dad's medical files. They're in the filing cabinet in his study. 40 minutes later, I parked 3 houses down from what was legally my home. A police cruiser I'd arranged sat at the corner. Officer Banks gave me a nod. Barbara answered the door, her face freezing when she saw me. You are not welcome here. I pressed record on my phone, holding it visibly. I am legally requesting my daughter's birth certificate and my father's medical records. Megan appeared behind her. We'll call the police if you don't leave. I've already notified them. I nodded toward Officer Banks, who was stepping out of his cruiser. This is a documented request for my legal property. Barbara's eyes welled with tears, the familiar tactic. After everything I've done for you. When the tears didn't move me, her expression hardened. You think you can take what's mine? Her voice cut like glass. Your father never appreciated me? Not like he appreciated you? Mrs. Henderson was watering her flowers across the street, pretending not to listen. The filing cabinet in the study, I repeated. I'll wait. 10 minutes later, I walked back to my car with the envelope. The next morning, Dr. Riley met me in the cafeteria. Here's my statement, she said. 2 years of watching you run yourself ragged. No jury would question your dedication. I'm Ms. Albright, Chloe's teacher, called. I've documented Chloe's relationship with her grandfather. How he attended every school function when you were working. How she read to him daily. By evening, Ben had filed for the emergency possession order, complete with 17 signed affidavits. Aunt Susan called, Ben said. Barbara has been photographing family heirlooms for an eBay listing. Dad's medical collection. My jaw tightened. And your grandmother's silver. The antique furniture from the library. The hospital chaplain, Father Michael, had left a message. A character witness statement. People were choosing sides. Thursday brought the shift. The judge has reviewed our filing, Ben said. She's expedited the hearing date. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. I sat in my car across the street, watching as Ben, in his crispest suit, delivered the notice. I watched Barbara's face as she read the words. The paper trembled. Property owner Ava Anderson. Tessa, no, Megan, appeared, phone to her ear, calling her lawyer. For the first time, I saw something other than manipulation in my mother's expression. Understanding, the realization that I would not back down. This isn't about feelings, Ava, Ben said, spreading our case on the conference table. It's about facts. The courthouse gleams. I am not in scrubs. I am in my best suit. Today I am not Ava the nurse. I am Ava the plaintiff. Chloe stands beside me, her hand in mine. Ready, Ben asks. I nod. The courtroom is heavy with the smell of polish. I see them. Barbara and Megan, whispering. My mother looks up. Her smile falters when she sees the calm in my eyes. Judge Evelyn Reed presiding, the bailiff calls. Ben rises. Your Honor, we have a complete timeline documenting Dr. David Miller's intentions. He presents the charts, the trust, the affidavits from 3 physicians. He presents my work schedules, cross-referenced with my father's treatment calendar. He presents the bank records, showing I paid the property taxes and maintenance while Barbara paid for social engagements. He plays the video deposition from my father's attorney. Dr. Miller was explicit. He had concerns Mrs. Miller might attempt to circumvent his intentions. Barbara gasps. Ben calls our witnesses. Ms. Albright. Chloe has exhibited significant distress since being forcibly removed from her home. A Judge Reed nods. Let's hear from the respondents. Barbara's attorney, Arthur Croft, rises. Your Honor, a tragic misunderstanding. Miller intended to allow her daughter to remain temporarily. Barbara takes the stand, handkerchief in hand. I cared for my husband. Gianna, Ava, was rarely home, always at the hospital. A lie so blatant it steals my breath. Tessa, Megan, follows, with photos. Here's our family at Christmas. Here's Mom helping Dad with his medication. One curated moment, ignoring the 500 times I'd found his pills untouched. Then, the surprise. The courtroom door opens. My Aunt Susan walks in. Miss Susan Blackwell has requested to provide testimony, Ben announces. Susan takes the stand. I visited my brother, in law weekly. On numerous occasions, I found him alone while my sister was at her bridge club or a luncheon. It was Ava who adjusted his medications, prepared his meals and ensured his comfort. A Barbara half rises, but Croft pulls her back down. Ben produces the sealed envelope. Your Honor, Dr. Miller prepared this letter for the court, in the event of this dispute. Judge Reed breaks the seal. She reads. Her eyebrows rise, Mom. Chloe's voice breaks the tension. Can I say something? Judge Reed's face softens. Come forward, young lady. Chloe walks to the stand. My grandpa taught me chess in his study every Sunday. Even when he was really sick. He told me the house would always be there for Mom and me. He said he'd made sure of it. He said Grandma didn't appreciate what she had. A tears build in my eyes. Dignity, not drama. I just want to go home, Chloe finishes. I rise. Your Honor, I moved home 2 years ago to care for my father. The documented evidence speaks for itself. She manipulated her dying father. Barbara shouts, pointing at me. He wasn't thinking clearly. Mrs. Miller, control yourself, Judge Reed warns. During the recess, Derek, Megan's husband, follows Ben into the hall. A security camera captures his whisper. You'll regret taking this case. Back in session, Croft challenges the trust. It backfires when Ben produces the documents they had signed, acknowledging their awareness of the trust months ago. Mrs. Miller, The judge says, these records indicate you attended only 3 of your husband's 27 oncology appointments. Is that correct? Barbara fumbles. Megan leans in whispering. I catch a fragment. Already spoke with the agent about listing it. The judge's head snaps up. What agent would that be, Mrs. Peterson? It's Megan's married name. Megan blanches. A reporter in the back row scribbles frantically. My colleagues from the hospital file in, a silent wall of support. Judge Reed closes her folder. I am granting temporary possession of the property at 1420 Oakmont Drive to Ava Anderson and the Chloe Miller Trust, effective immediately. The Sheriff's Department will escort Mrs. Barbara Miller and Mrs. Megan Peterson from the property by 5 p.m. today. The final hearing on this matter is set for 3 weeks from now. Barbara collapses, her performance over. Outside, Croft approaches Ben. We should discuss a settlement. I shake my head. We're past that. In the hallway, Megan and Derek are arguing. You said this would be easy. Now where are we supposed to live? I lead Chloe toward the exit, into the sunlight. Is it over? She asks. Almost, I tell her. We're going home. The phone rang at 7:15 a.m. Mother, 3 days before the final hearing. Iva, Barbara's voice quivered. I'm still your mother. Family should come first. It's what your father would want. I stirred my coffee. Dad made his wishes very clear in the trust. Mom. People are talking, Ava. The whole church is praying. Pastor Williams reminded me that forgiveness requires reconciliation. A text from Uncle Robert. This is tearing the family apart. Tessa's. Megan's boys are devastated, Barbara continued. They've already moved their things. Now they have to pack again. Those rooms were never theirs, I said. We could share the house, she pressed. You and Chloe take the main bedroom. We'll take the guest rooms? No. The word fell like a stone. You're being cruel, Ava. What happened to the daughter who nursed her father for 2 years? She got locked out in the rain, I said, and hung up. Ben called an hour later. Barbara's attorney filed a motion. They're requesting a mental health evaluation. Claiming your grief has impaired your judgment. My stomach clenched. Can they do that? It's a delay tactic. But the hospital called me. Someone filed an anonymous complaint questioning your professional stability. The smear campaign. The school principal left a message too. Megan's been telling parents that Chloe isn't doing well in our temporary situation. Ben, am I being too harsh? Should I? No, he cut in. Remember your father's letter. Barbara has never appreciated boundaries, which is why I've drawn this one so clearly. Stay the course, Ava. The day before the hearing, the clerk's office called. We can't locate your documentation folder for tomorrow. What? All our evidence. I'll meet you at the office in 20, Ben's assistant promised. I turned to Chloe. I'm going to be late. The grandpa's tablet, she said suddenly. The blue one. He backed up all his important papers to the cloud. The password, it's my birthday. 3 hours of frantic reprinting. We made the deadline with 11 minutes to spare. Someone deliberately misplaced our files, Ben said. Thursday morning, 9:27 a.m. I stood by my mailbox as the sheriff's deputies pulled into the driveway. Ben stood beside me. In the car, Chloe clutched a framed photo of my father. The lead deputy knocked. Sheriff's Department. Open up, please. Megan answered. What is the meaning of this? I have a writ of possession to execute, the deputy said. Are you Barbara Miller? Barbara appeared, hair perfect. I'm not letting strangers into my home. Mom, I'm required by law to read this order. You will then have 20 minutes to collect essential personal belongings. As he read, Barbara's eyes found mine across the lawn. The hatred in them was palpable. I remained by the mailbox as they entered. Ben recorded the entire process on his phone. Those are family heirlooms, I heard Barbara shriek. Ma'am, we have a court-approved inventory list, a deputy replied. Those items are property of the trust. A deputy emerged, carrying a cat carrier. Found this little guy hiding under a bed. Seems a bit malnourished. Mittens. I took the carrier to Chloe, who burst into tears, stroking his fur. He's so skinny, Mom. The minutes ticked by. Deputies carried out boxes of clothes. Sir, step back, a deputy commanded. Derek was yelling. Threatening language will not be tolerated. 17 minutes later, Barbara emerged, clutching her purse. Megan followed with a small suitcase. You'll regret this, Barbara said, her voice carrying across the lawn. When you need family, remember this. I met her gaze. You already taught me how regret feels, standing in the rain with my daughter. The lead deputy approached. Dr. Anderson, we've completed the transfer. There are several items missing from the inventory, and your father's medical equipment was improperly stored in the basement. Some damage appears deliberate. We've photographed everything. He handed me a ring of keys, house keys, garage keys, the keys to my life. Marjorie, Barbara, walked stiffly to her car. Megan paused, something like recognition on her face, before Derek pulled her away. The neighbors who had gathered slowly dispersed. The security system is reset, Ben said. I've also filed for a restraining order. As a precaution, Chloe climbed out of the car, still holding her grandfather's photo. She walked to the porch, as if unsure it was real. I stood in the doorway, keys in hand. Victory didn't feel triumphant. It just felt quiet. As Ben drove away, I noticed a white envelope in the mailbox. My mother's handwriting. I slipped it into my pocket, unopened. Some letters could wait. The rain falls differently now, 6 months later. I stand at the kitchen window, watching the drops. Dad's study remains untouched, a memorial. Lily Chloe, has a garden in the backyard. She calls it the Peace Project. The promotion letter is framed on my desk. Nursing supervisor, emergency services. Mom. Chloe's voice floats from the porch. Come watch the rain with me. I pour 2 mugs of tea and join her. We sit in the matching rocking chairs, just as I did with Dad. It's raining, just like that day, Chloe says. Yes, I say. Same weather, different feeling. This is our home now, she says, a statement of hard-won truth. I squeeze her hand. It always was. Later, I sit at my desk, my journal open. Strength isn't just endurance. I write. I thought being strong meant carrying everyone's burdens. I confused sacrifice with love. But real strength knows when to draw lines. When to say no. The hospital committee invitation sits unanswered. Time with Chloe is not negotiable. Some boundaries aren't betrayal, they're preservation. My phone chimes. A Facebook post from Megan, her and Barbara arguing at an estate sale. I quietly block both accounts. An email from Aunt Susan arrived yesterday. Tentative, maybe it's time for healing. My response, Susan, I value you. But reconciliation requires acknowledgement and change. Neither has happened. My door remains open to you, but my boundaries with Barbara and Megan are not negotiable. The unopened letter from Barbara sat in my desk drawer for months. I finally read it last night. 5 pages of justifications, selective memories, and subtle blame. No apology. I filed it away. I chose peace. The rain intensifies. Chloe brings her watercolors to the porch. I watch her work, her fingers moving with a new certainty. Some storms wash things away, I say. Others help things grow. She looks up, brush poised. I like this storm better. Thank you for listening to my story. The lesson I had to learn, the hard way, is that true strength isn't about how much you can endure. It's about knowing what's not yours to carry. Family shouldn't be a burden you bear. It should be a foundation that supports you. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to draw a line to protect yourself and your children. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between your family's demands and your own well-being? What boundaries did you need to set? I would be honored if you would share your own stories of strength in the comments section below. And if this story resonated with you, and you believe in the power of standing up for yourself, please click that like button. Share this video, and subscribe to our channel for more stories. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss what's next.